Okay, so we are outside because we're talking electrical vehicles. You see them everywhere on the road. They raise a lot of curiosity and a lot of questions. But here to answer some of those questions, we have John Grinrod. He is actually the manager of SMUD's Drive Electric program. And EV is an acronym for what, John?
Well, it's for electric vehicle. So when we're talking about electric vehicles, we're always talking about a car that has a battery, an electric motor, and is plug-in. So it's charged by plugging into household current or electricity. So that's how it recharges. Now, there are two basic categories of electric vehicles. There's a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle that has a battery and an electric motor, and then when that battery is diminished, then there's a gasoline motor also that takes over, and it just goes seamlessly. So you could drive from here to New York in a plug-in hybrid and just fill up for gas as you go along. And when you're around town, you can plug in and drive on all electric. The other category is all electric, or what's called a battery electric vehicle. So that's just a battery, usually larger, and of course an electric motor. Now those have ranges anywhere from usually 80 miles for kind of a commuter vehicle, around town type of use, up to 350 miles or even more on the higher end models. And we're starting to see mid 200 mile range vehicles that are pretty moderately priced for the mass market.
Okay, and you're going to show us exactly how we charge something like this, right?
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, there's really three basic sources of charging that most people use. There's home charging, there's workplace charging, and there's public charging. So with home charging is by far the most convenient and economical with SMUD's EV discount program. That you can charge actually for around, it's like paying about 60 cents a gallon for gas.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
So yeah, it's very economical and it's easy. The general scenario is you come home from work, you plug in the car, and you come out in the morning and it's all charged up and ready to go. With workplace, more and more workplaces are offering their employees who drive electric charging at work, and it's a similar kind of scenario. You drive to work in the morning, you plug in, and then at the end of the day, you're ready to go. So this is what it is right here. This part here plugs into the car, and the other end here, this is what's called a level 1 charger. So that's just a standard household plug, and it runs on 120 volts. So that's why it's called level 1. This will add about 4 or 5 miles of electrical range per hour of charging. Now there's also what's referred to as level 2 charging, and it's called level 2 because it's 220 volts, something like what your dryer would run on. So those are typically a lot more powerful, anywhere from twice to 5 or 6 times as powerful, and will add 25, 30, 40 miles of range per hour of charging. And then there's also something called fast charging, DC fast charging, which is available on some all electric vehicles. They'll charge your vehicle up to about 80% of capacity within 25 or 30 minutes. So those are all public, very high powered. You wouldn't find that around the house.
Okay, but yeah, I don't think you want to find something like that around the house, though, too, right?
No, absolutely not.
And you'd already mentioned the affordability in regards to the equation of charging the vehicle, how much that would be versus putting gas into a car. But owning the car, purchasing, managing, and maintaining this car. What's the affordability factor on this?
Well, there's a lot of incentives actually that are making electric vehicles very competitive with traditional gas-powered vehicles. So the first one that comes to mind is there's a federal tax rebate. That's something you get off your income tax when you file your taxes, and that's up to $7,500. So that really brings the cost down, the net cost down. And then there's also a state of California offers a $2,500 rebate. I should say up to $2,500 rebate, and that's just a check that they send you. So when you purchase or lease a new electric vehicle, then you can apply for that. So right there's $10,000. Now SMUD also participates in the state of California's low carbon fuel standard program, and that funds some rebates and incentives that SMUD is actually able to offer, and it's what we call charge free for 2 years. So when somebody purchases, or when a SMUD customer purchases or leases a new plug-in electric vehicle, they can apply, and we'll send them a check for $599, and that's more than enough for the average EV driver in Sacramento to charge for 2 years. And there's a choice between that or the aforementioned level 2 charger. So we will send one or the other depending on what the customer chooses.
Wow, so that's a lot of savings out there. My goodness. Okay, so if somebody watching is now very intrigued and they're considering purchasing an EV vehicle, hybrid or full electric vehicle, what should they do?
Well, I would say do some research, make sure that it's something for you. I recommend that they would go to smud.org/drive electric. Everything I've just talked about and a lot more information is there. They can also check out our EV estimator, and that's a tool, an online tool that they can use to compare a gas-powered vehicle with an electric vehicle. It'll talk about the incentives, it'll talk about all the operational costs, the fuel costs, the environmental benefits, and it'll help make a more informed decision.
John, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Great to hear there's so many incentives to go EV, save money, and also be green. Now, I'm sure you watched the Oscars yesterday, right?
I did.
Oscar Sunday. I know, right? We're all like, oh man, what happened? Well, today's kind of a break day, and then tomorrow's Fat Tuesday. There's so much celebration going on. And coming up next on Sac&Co, we have a